I went to court to pay a ticket for improper lane change, and they hit me with they threw that charge out and hit me with fourth offense DWI. And I told the district attorney, I said, I've never had a third offense DWI. And he said, if I have to redo the paperwork, he goes, I'm going to hit you with the Habitual Offender Act and put you down for all day, which means the rest of your life. He said, or you sign off on the fourth offense. He said, we'll give you 10 years, you'll serve half of it, and you'll be on parole the other half. He said, if you fight it in court, we're going to give you 30 years flat. And that's the decision. That's what they told me. Then they remanded me to Murderers Row in East Baton Rouge Parish jail there by the airport, and put me on Murderers Row. Like I said, I was on a row with 39 of the most the worst people you could be with. Murderers. One guy, my cellie, shot a guy 3 times and poured gas on him, lit him on fire, but the fella survived long enough to make to do a tape deposition. So this guy, I was in there with some pretty bad stuff. And when I walked in there, when they put me in there, they had me chained up. They took the chains off of me, and this old black man came up and he said, "My name's Matthews." He goes, "I killed 3 white women. What'd you do?" I looked him dead in the eyes and I said, "Improper lane change." They were kind of like backed off away, and maybe that's that my size and everything else helped me. But and thank you, Dean Malenko, for I would ankle pick people and put them in a Texas clover leaf when bad stuff started happening. But I was there for till I got my time. And then when they shipped me to a maximum security disciplinary camp, which is the worst of the worst of the worst. You're in there with the people that can't keep it right in prison, that are and you're in a dorm setting. It was I don't know, like Thunderdome every night, 2 to 5 fights a night in the dorm every night. I'd been there 7-8 months, and then I got a pretty big one, and I whipped some boys, and the warden found out who I was, or found out, had me come in and talk to me. He said, "You shouldn't." He said, "Your probation parole must hate you." He said, "You shouldn't be here." He said, "You've never been anything but a model prisoner." And then he sent me to J. Levy Dabadie, which was the only Class A trustee camp in the state, meaning that you could go outside the fence and work for the parish or whatever. I worked on the road crew for 7 months, and then on the Air Force Base, cutting, running a John Deere tractor, cutting down firing ranges. That's
Whoa.
scary.
Whoa, yeah, intense.
Yeah, yeah. You're sitting there, you're wearing a prison jumpsuit, and you're out there on a John Deere tractor cutting down bush hogging firing ranges, and then people
Man.
got live ammunition. So
Yeah.
just but I worked really hard in everything I did, and it got me benefits. I was able to get a cup of coffee sometimes when I wanted to. It was rough. It was hard. It was bad. But I made it through. You know, and I made it through a lot because I kept our Creator. I kept Yahweh. I kept my God in my heart by my side. I made a promise. Let me go back to they put me in there into the place. Well, I've been there 2 days and I hadn't got just no rest, no everything was just tearing me apart. It's so loud. People MF this, you heard me. Oh, I hate that. Anyway, after 2 days of that, they're telling me 10 years. I couldn't take it, so I took my sheet and I slid it up and I braided it together and I made 2 nooses. Now I tie knots offshore and stuff on oil platforms and stuff. I know how to tie a knot. Made 2 nooses. I wrapped them around the bars. I got on the top rack. I put the nooses on my neck. I was in a crouched position. I knew I had to jump out as hard as I could, and that would snap my neck because I didn't have very far to fall. It was only 5.5 feet or so. And I got up there and I said, God, only you can stop this now. And I jumped. And when I hit the ground with such force, the soles of my feet were bruised for weeks. Both nooses broke. They didn't tear, they didn't rip. They broke, they failed. I carry part of the one of the sheet in my Bible now. I dropped to my knees and I promised God I'd never try to hurt myself again. 5 days later, the guards came and they chained me up and they took me to the chaplain. They opened the door. The chaplain said, "Your mom's dead. You can use the phone." Picked up the phone and made arrangements to make it to the funeral. I made it there in chains and an orange, but I made it. You know,
Wow.
and I got back that day and I dropped to my knees. Now I hadn't drank since August, and it's January now because I knew I had a problem. I dropped to my knees that night or that day, and I promised God I wouldn't drink again. And that's a promise that I'm glad to say I've kept. And my advice is, to everybody is out there. There comes a point in time in your life when you got to stand up. You got to draw a line in the sand. You got to step across that line, and you got to say, "I ain't going back."